So I'm introducing myself, Ron Giles, and Tracy, who is our moderator today. And with that, let's go ahead and go. I'd like to talk today about Zim benefactors. Now, in the RSS program, there's two portions of that. One is the Zim benefactor, and one is the Zim beneficiary. Today, we'll be talking about the Zim benefactor, and at another time, we'll talk more about how the beneficiaries can work the program. So, one of the most important things to understand about the Zim benefactor is that to be a Zim benefactor, you have to go through the program and understand it, and then sign a contract with Loved One Society. In that contract, you'll be a Zim benefactor, but you will also have, and we'll go a little bit further into that in a little while, but there's certain benefits or things that you need to do, and one of them is to go through the Zim redemption process and ask for the higher rates. When you sign the contract, there is a liability that you are accepting, in that you will be funding a chain of Zim beneficiaries that creates a liability for you over time. Now, if you've asked for the higher rates, you will never have a problem meeting those obligations. But it's important for you to, in the beginning, go for the higher rates so that you don't have any other problems, and then you'll be able to have plenty of money to do anything that you want to do, along with the liability that you created for funding the Zim beneficiaries. So with that, let's go ahead and go on. In the humanitarian programs, we have created 5 unique programs that were designed for Zim holders to enhance their humanitarian projects. And this is key, using their own Zim redemption funds. And that's where you obligate yourself to continue that. The first 2 programs, I'll call them entry-level programs for all Zim benefactors. One is the Revenue Sharing Solutions Program. The second is the Community Assistance Centers. And there's 3 more that are more advanced and are optional. One is the National Real Estate Listing Service. 4 is the Economic Stabilization System, and 5 International Commodity Clearinghouses. These last 4 are optional. Perhaps the National Real Estate Listing Service will be participated in by many more than would go ahead with the Economic Stabilization System and International Commodity Clearinghouses, because it's on a much larger scale than most people really want to get involved with. But the Real Estate Listing Service is a magnificent program to get people into homes. And so we have them give them the money, and then they can get into homes. And this is the basis upon which people begin building a family that is the basic building block for society. We believe that the home is something that should never be foreclosed upon, and you should never be required to leave that home because of funds. That's a program that's really exciting. But let's go back and learn a little bit more about the Revenue Sharing Solutions Program. Okay, so Zim benefactors have 2 priorities, Priority 1 and Priority 2. RSS platform controlled by Loved One Society is the first one that you have a priority. You will receive a master ID number when you've signed the contract. Master ID number means that anybody that comes in that you're going to fund comes in underneath that master ID number. Now, obviously, they won't use that. They'll use the other personal ID numbers as the chain of beneficiaries. And all of that chain of beneficiaries are under the master ID number, and those are the ones that we'll be funding. Master funding account. Keep in mind that the RSS platform has no money in it. Yes, it's an accounting system that keeps track of money, but it's only accounting entries. There's no money in the system at all. And so each Zim benefactor sets up a master funding account where the RSS platform can pull from that account and pay the beneficiary when they request money. So part of the program, then you got the master ID number, and you're responsible for the master funding account, which will be in the QFS, Quantum Financial System. Loved One Society does not have any charges or fees or anything. It's free to set up in any location or country, no restrictions at this point in time. Once again, there's no control. It will go where people refer people. So once you started your master ID number and you start having people register, you have no control over what takes place. They will be referring to their aunts, uncles, whatever, friends, and they may have friends over in France or Germany or other countries. And so once it goes out to wherever, and you have no control over it. And it's designed that way because we don't have any control. There is a backup system, and that is the Alliance, and the Quantum Financial System itself are the lions at the gate, and people will not be able to use money even if they get it unless they're doing good things with it or appropriate things. Mm-hmm. So if you're wanting to do drugs or something of this nature or sex trafficking, you can't, your funds will be blocked. There's none of that kind of activity that will be allowed in the Quantum Financial System.
So what is the entire
So we don't have to worry about it.
Ron, I need to understand something. So what is the purpose of the revenue sharing solution? Why did you create it? What is it supposed to do?
Well, that's an excellent question. And as a Zim benefactor or as a Zim holder getting our funds, how do you get that into the hands of people? And this was a program that was designed to get the money into the hands of as many people as want it in a very organized and in a way that maintains dignity. Now, just the simple fact that we charge $10 to come in qualifies you, anybody, to receive funds from the revenue sharing solutions. It's a solution for the sharing of funds to the world, to people, to individuals.
Awesome.
This was what it's for.
So it's basically to disperse the revenue to the general public from the Zim benefactors. So the beneficiaries are the receivers of the money, and the benefactors are the givers of the money. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, that is true.
Awesome. And when you say there's no control, this means that it's open to anybody and everybody, provided that they are not nefarious in nature.
Well, it's open to everybody, even if they're nefarious. But if they do get money and start using it for bad things, the Quantum Financial System will block their transfers.
Perfect.
They won't have an opportunity to do things that are inappropriate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about it as benefactors. We don't have to worry about where the money goes, nor the people that we have to concern ourselves with. Everybody gets a chance to make mistakes, and everybody gets a chance to really get involved and have an enjoyable life with a flow of income that's significant and beneficial for their own personal lives. Revenue sharing solutions will be the website. So it's not a .com, it's a .solution. So we call it the RSS program, Revenue Sharing Solutions, but is revenue sharing .solutions to get into the platform. Now let's go on to the Community Assistance Centers program. The real actual humanitarian activity is done in the communities. And this program is the one that we call the boots on the ground. Each SIM benefactor funds their own program, their own CAC program. They're in charge of it. They set it up according to the people that they want to have involved. Now, we'll give policies on how to do things and training and so forth, but keep in mind that you are the ZIM benefactor. You are the one who is in charge of the use of your money. So you will always have control. We never take control of your money. The only way that we even get funds from you is through your master account, and then that's drawn down according to the program. So the CAC structure is for each city, county, state, nation, or wherever you want to work within. You may set up alongside another ZIM benefactor. There are no restrictions. So if there's a whole bunch of you in an area, you can each set up your own community assistance centers and start working towards each of the different communities. So a little coordination could be a good idea, but we don't require that. You're in charge of your activities, and if you want to work with other people, then that's a good thing, but we're not in charge of that. You guys are, whoever wants to be involved. So the main purpose for the ZIM benefactor then is to recruit people to fill director positions in geographical communities, cities, states, countries, and so on.
Nice. So you basically, there's no boundaries with that. So you can do it like starting in your own community and just branch from there. Is that what you would suggest?
I would suggest you start in your own communities with people that you may know as directors. And it's not going to be hard to recruit these people, because who wouldn't love a job giving money away?
Exactly. And serving your own community.
And serving the people that you love, and that's where your home is. So you start there, in my opinion, you start there, and then you go wherever you'd like to go.
Awesome.
No restrictions.
So with the community assistance centers, what exactly are people going to be doing in these communities? You're hiring these directors, but what are the directors going to be doing? The
community assistance directors have many different potential hats. They come under the direction of the ZIM benefactor, because the benefactor is one who hires them and creates a set of policies and procedures. The main purpose of this is to get money out into the communities, but the director is responsible for bringing into the program small business owners or service-oriented businesses in the community. We're going to be giving people a lot of money in the RSS program, but we want people to maintain their working and their service to the community. So we're doing that by employment contracts. For instance, let's say there's a guy down the street who has an auto body shop. It's a major service to the community, because you can go in, and there's others that are there that will do that, but we have to maintain the numbers of people so that it can be serviced properly. We go into the business owner and we say to him, we'd like to offer you an employment contract. We'll go through the selling points and all that sort of stuff, but we won't go into that now. But the idea is that we double your income from what you're doing now, and we pay your employees a contract by contract using our revenue sharing solutions program or platform, which drops some money into their account, and you don't even have to worry about paying them, because we pay them. So you're going to double your income. You're going to be able to hire as many people and put them on these contracts as you need to maintain your business. It's just wise to be able for you to manage things. So the director will go in and talk to you, and then and he'll set you up on your employment contract, and in each of the employees he will set up on another on a contractual basis under the direction of the business owner. So if the business owner thinks you need to raise, then he tells the director, and the director goes in and makes the changes. If you fire somebody, then the idea is, as far as policy is concerned, we'll continue for another 30 days after that person is dismissed so that he can go find some other work. But he'll get paid during that time through the RSS program.
So the payment to the employee comes from the RSS?
Yes. And he's not involved in that payment or anything like that. He just tells the system what he wants to pay his employees, and each one of them can have their own account. Plus, they all get accounts, their own personal accounts or beneficiary accounts. So there's 2 accounts in the RSS platform. They have 2 pennies dropping into their account, whatever amount that is that the owner of the business wants to pay his employees.
And we're going to have a detailed training on the CAC shortly, right? So we can dive in deep.
Yeah. Along with that, we'll do the employment contracts, because that's a major thing for the CACs. But it's also a major thing for the ZIM benefactors to get out and set up their program. So that's what we're trying to understand right now. But yes, there's a lot of training that needs to be done. None of us have ever done this before. So how do you train a director when there's never been a director that's giving your money away to a community? There's a lot of things to think through and how you want to do it and the policies. If you want to give your the boss, the owner of the business, if you want to give him 3 times what he's working now or making now, you have complete control of that as a ZIM benefactor, because it's your money, and they're the people who are receiving the money from us to maintain their business in the community. A service-oriented business, that could be a dry cleaner, a mechanic, it could be a restaurant, a local restaurant. We don't want to get involved with national change because it's impersonal, and we're not interested in that. We want to support the local people. And so you go in and say, we'd like to give you a contract to stay open and pay your employees double what they're getting now. Mm-hmm. It can go to any type of restaurant like that. Anything that makes sense in the community, that's serving the community, we want to be sure that they're financially viable and able to stay with us.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after the year they've had. Nope. So far, we're good. I just wanted to ask questions about what, they were supposed to do, but I know that we have a bigger training forthcoming. So we'll dive deeper when we get there.
We're just touching on the big basics, hopefully touching on it enough to make it sound good. And then you have the optional programs. The National Real Estate Listing Service, we discussed that a little bit. Basically, that's a program where we buy houses at retail or market value, and then we bring it in, and then we have crews will go in and remodel things and bring it up to a high standard. And then you take the purchase price and all of the money that goes into the remodeling and so forth. That's the price, and then we take 20% off of that. And that's the price that the people buy the house for. So they move into the house with a 20% equity. Part of that is we increase their download sufficiently so that it covers the monthly payments. The monthly payments come out of their RSS account automatically. And so you're never going to, we're putting it in there and taking it back out for the payment, and it will never stop. Okay? It's bonded. Our payment to you is bonded. So it'll never stop. You can plan on it for the rest of your life. The house then gets paid off in a 15-year term. And there's a lien that's put on the property, but it's in your name, and the lien goes towards the benefactor who is in charge of that program. The real estate portion of it, you work through brokers because there's laws associated with the transfer of homes and so forth. And we follow the laws each state. And if countries have their own laws, well, every country has their own laws to transfer real estate. So we work with people. We work within the laws and set up the RSS program, the National Real Estate Listing in those nations, so the laws in those nations. This is a magnificent program and one that I'm really happy about. We use brokers and salespeople. They get their own commissions coming. Property goes on, probably getting a little bit more detailed than I want to go, but a property goes on the market. A broker or a real estate agent or whatever has put it on the market. We go in, we have people that will buy that, real estate people who will go in and they'll get a commission, a sales commission, and the real estate and the person who listed it gets a listing. So they're getting money coming as they buy the property. It comes into the listing service, and then when we resell it at our terms, then the real estate people get another download on the commissions for that. They get cash in the beginning because there's cash transactions going on with listings and so forth. But when we sell it through us, then we give them downloads. They'll get 5 pennies per minute download for each home that they sell, up to 25 or up to 250,000. So we'll go back to that some other time.
Yeah, let's just do a training on that later, because that's your.
Yeah, we'll leave that more training for that. I think I've said sufficient for now for the National Real Estate Listing Service.
Okay.
Let's go on to the Economic Stabilization System. This is one of the major programs and I won't go into it in a lot of detail, but we go in and buy all of the products for a company. And it doesn't matter which size it is. Let's just take the automobile industry. Let's say Ford Motor Company produces 800,000 cars per year. If you go through their history, they only sell around 700,000. So there's 100,000 each year that they don't sell. In order for them to make money, they have to make enough to cover 800,000 and then only sell 700,000. We go in, we'll buy all of the cars that they make from a 5-year average. We own the cars. That means we can determine the price that the dealers buy from us. We put the dealers on employment contracts. We put all of the workers that build the cars on employment contracts. So when we buy the car from the manufacturer, we pay their recommended retail price less the labor costs involved, and it's all done by computers, and we figure all that out in the beginning. Ford Motor Company is getting paid the suggested retail price for 800,000 cars. That makes them financially viable every year. We'll bond that for 10 years, and each year we renew that bond for another 10 years after that. Once they come with us, there's no turning back. It's just too expensive and too much of a problem to change things to go back to the way it was. So we bond it so that they have confidence with us. And all of those bonds we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. It could be that the bond money is put into an escrow account controlled by a law firm of some sort under their escrow accounts. And it'll all work out fine, but it's bonded. Let's just simply say that. So they stay in business. Now, all of the people who support the manufacturers of these things, there's parts. We go down, we start doing that with them as well, we'll buy all you can have and put you under contract and so on and so forth for employment contracts for your people. And we can go all the way back to the mine that creates the ore to build cars with. So there's no There's nobody in that chain of how that eventually comes out as a car, as well as the distribution that is not on these employment contracts. So the economic stabilization concept is that everybody is profitable.
Mm.
Now let's be realistic. We're putting this money into everything that we do without any return required on us. Love One Industries is a part of Love One Society with the specific responsibility to do the economic stabilization system. And there's people who are in charge of that. They've been identified, and they're going to be in a position to manage that and have all of the whole programs or a structure to be able to do this, not only in America, but all over the world. And it's a major thing, but those are contracts that have to be meticulously written,
mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of, once we go down this road, it's got to be sure that we do things correctly. That's the economic stabilization system. Now, so Love One Industries is a subsidiary of Love One Society, and that's a corporation sole, but it acts like a trust. So each of these different, we got the Love One Industries, Love One Entertainment, Love One Holdings, a bunch of things of this nature that will be used for our own structures. And then you have the International Commodity Clearinghouse, which will also be administered by Love One Industries. And the two economic stabilization and international commodity clearinghouses work in conjunction with each other. So the International Commodity Clearinghouse will take a little while to do, to get set up, and the economic stabilization system will take a little time, just a year or two, to really get down in and get it all the people signed up that we want to do that. We want to, and we want everybody to be involved in it, so that everybody is financially viable throughout all of the economic sectors of the economy.
Which one of these was in your farmers programs? I'm really interested in the food.
Economic stabilization.
Okay.
We go in and we offer a farmer a contract. We'll buy all that you can produce. We're going to be involved in hemp very heavily, because hemp is it's renewable source. It can be used for wood or paper or whatever you want. We don't have to be cutting down trees. We have an annual crop that we can take instead of cutting the forest down.
Love it.
At any rate, the idea is we go to the farm. We'll buy everything you can produce, and the figure that we'll do, and we do it ahead of time, and the figure that we'll come up with is your 5-year average for the last 5 years. And we'll buy everything you can produce, and we'll pay for it in the beginning of the year, so you don't have to borrow money from the bank or anything like this to go ahead and do your risk. Is what it has been in the past. The farmer is dependent on the moisture and all kinds of different things, and every year they risk that. They risk the whole farm, and we're taking all of that away from them, because we're going to buy everything they can produce. If there's a problem with drought or something, we suffer that. We buffer that to the farmer.
Mm-hmm.
And we want farmers to be a really, really good way to earn a living. And so, yeah, that's where that comes in. And then our job is to put it into the distribution system, and we pay for the people in that as well, truckers included. So from the farm to the dinner table, we're going to be involved in all levels, so that the price is going to be stabilized throughout the economy for most everything. Can't think of anything that's not, but I just say most because we don't know of everything.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the nitty gritty for the foundation of Love One with the revenue sharing solutions.
Okay. The revenue sharing solutions program addresses the problem that Zim holders have of getting money into the hands of people without causing chaos and without needing to personally pay them by a check or something like that. Funds at the time, time and time again. Once it's set up and it doesn't end. So you do it for all of the individuals you want to assist. Now, this is our suggested solution that Zim holders receiving the higher rates can use. Again, there's that obligation and it's a contract, but we want people to ask for the higher rates so that they can be a part of this whole program of getting money out into the hands of the people in an organized way. And so I believe this is a great service for humanitarians who are trying to get money out to people. They can sign it as a benefactor and they can go from there and do all of the stuff that they want to do all the projects that they want to do on their own, but they're getting money into the hands of the people. Now, the RSS platform takes over the task of distribution, and we do it 24 hours per day, 365 days per year for each benefactor and or contracted employee. So it's getting money out into distributed to people, and that's what humanitarianism is about. Okay, the problem, there's some problems in getting money out that we've tried to solve. How do you get humanitarian funds into the hands of people without just giving and giving on an individual basis? The solution would be join revenue sharing solutions as a Zim benefactor. The solution that we have addressed for the problem that we saw of getting money out into people was maintaining personal dignity. Giving away free stuff takes away dignity and creates a welfare state mentality, I should say. Simply requiring a $10 registration fee gives a beneficiary a feeling that they have met the qualifications for the funds. As small as it may be, they are now qualified to receive these funds. That alone helps them maintain dignity. And there's all kinds of ways you can say that. This is money that was supposed to be given to you over a period of time by the old people that have stolen it from us. And this is our way of giving it back to you without overloading the whole society and giving free money away when it'll interrupt the flow in the economy. So this is the best way to do it. And as small as it would be, the fee helps them to qualify in their mind to receive the funds that we believe are theirs anyway. And a consistent download of significant amounts of money that creates a certain amount of overwhelm. This creates gratitude while still providing an appropriate upgrade for one's financial resources. We feel that if you have a certain amount of overwhelm, if it's just enough to get by, we don't feel that's what our purpose is. We want people to thrive. And so the solution must involve a 24-hour, 365 days per year download, provides funds for an on-demand transfer to beneficiaries' own financial accounts. They're in charge of it. They just ask for the money to come down into their accounts, and it comes out of the RSS program and into their account. They can use it and spend it. Again, like I said earlier, there are no funds in the platform of revenue sharing solutions, so they have to ask for it to come down into their account. A Zim holder can become an RSS Zim benefactor when they ask for and receive the higher rates at the redemption appointment. This gives them sufficient funds to fund their chain of beneficiaries. And I might add, it gives them money to do their other projects as well. Now, the Zim benefactors participate using their own funds, and each Zim benefactor is given a master ID and begins sharing the RS programs with others. The Zim benefactors funds then funds the chain of beneficiaries registered under their master ID number, a master QFS account that is set up from the master QFS account that is set up on the RSS platform. We anticipate hundreds of Zim benefactors throughout the world. We presently have just under 1,700 who have committed to be a part of our program. We believe that this solves the problem. Now, this is the way it's set up. The RSS program using Zim benefactors funds. Each Zim benefactor is given a master ID, and that's the little box on the left called Master User ID. And then that Master ID goes, the beneficiaries sign up, and then the beneficiary has an account on the RSS platform. When they ask for the money, it's drawn down from the master account, and that's the Revenue Sharing Solutions internet platform. And it's an accounting ledger, doesn't have money. It's always funded by the benefactors themselves. And the beneficiary initiates a transfer request. The RSS computer fulfills that request, draws from the Zim benefactor's master QFS funding account, and it goes into the beneficiary's account where he can spend it the way he wants.
So the money never goes into Loved One Society's account. It goes straight from the Zim benefactor's master QFS funding account into the beneficiary's QFS account, right?
Correct. We have nothing to do with it. It's all free. There's no fees or anything like this. This is what we have anticipated using ourselves. And so we're sharing this platform with other people, other Zim holders who've gone through their redemption process and want to use this program to distribute their money and pay for their help in doing what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're never in control of another person's money. And the only time that we have anything from them is by contract in that master ID account, or master funding account.
Perfect. So what are the benefits of this revenue sharing solution exactly?
Well, there's multiple benefits, and it's hard to put them all in one place because you're going to come up with some more benefits that you think about as you get into it. But the RSS program there's a download of 10 cents per minute. That equals $6 per hour. At $6 per hour times 24 hours is $144 per day. It's $1,008 per week, $4,424 per 31-day month, and $52,560 per year. We feel that that's a significant amount of money just by putting 10 cents a minute into their account.
Yeah, and the cost for membership is $10.
Yes.
That's a good ROI, Ron.
Aren't we stupid? Yeah, we don't. The $10 is just, you have to pay something. And $10 is what we came up with.
Yep.
And in your mind, and in everybody else's mind, we want the $10 in their mind to say, I have qualified, and now I receive the funds.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't stop. Again, once established, the share is continuous for the foreseeable future. It's fully transferable, so if you pass away or something, then it's in your family. You can do what you want to do with it. If the beneficiary is a trust, the trustee continues to manage the trust funds or appointments, or appoint a new trustee. The funds are legally bonded to secure the funds, and we say for 10 years, but our funds coming into our accounts as beneficiaries never stops. The bonds will go into the accounts that never end. So we say 10 years, but or more. It doesn't matter to us. It'll just continue without expiration. This is important. Each beneficiary can establish 6 trust shares for whatever purpose the beneficiary desires. They set up the trusts. We have nothing to do with it. All we do is just If you set it up and register it on the RSS platform, it starts giving you 10 cents per minute into that trust account.
Wow.
Again, you can do that for whatever you want. So what does 6 times $1,000 a week? Well, you add 6 plus the 1, that's 7,000. That's $28,000 a month. Is that stupid enough for us to do that? Or is that just simply our desire to put money into your hands so that you can be financially viable for the rest of your life? Once it starts, it doesn't end. Trust can be for minor children, mentally challenged persons. If they're over 18, they can have their own and somebody manages it for them. It can be for vacations, large purchases, or just money to have fun with or to use for your life's experience. We don't care.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Okay, so the bonus program can provide an additional unlimited stream of income. How can that happen? We call it the bonus program. The thank you bonus, we give $50 for each new beneficiary registered under your user ID number. Now, this is for the beneficiaries, this program, and it's paid immediately upon the beneficiary's registration when it's completed. So they go to the registration point and they put in their card and they pay their $10. We don't even care if the $10 goes through. You're paid immediately $50 into your beneficiary account on the platform. The registration bonus, a beneficiary receives an additional 1 cent per minute download for each 2 persons registered under the beneficiary's user ID. So they not only get $50 for each one, but if you get 2 of them, which would give you $100, you get a 1 cent per minute download increase in your account. A 1 cent per minute download is $100 a week.
Wow.
So each one of these, you get another $100 every time you get a 1 cent increase. That's another $100 in your account per week, or $400 per month.
Cool.
And that's you get one of those for every 2 people that you sign. Now, the generational bonuses, this is a little bit more, there's some really good reasons to do this, and it's a little bit harder to understand. But when a beneficiary, number 1, registers a person, that person is on number 1's first generation. So I sign up Tracy, and she's on my first generation. Now, when Tracy signs up a person, then that person is on my second generation. And let's say that's Ren. And so Ren is on my third generation. Okay? So when I go to, let's say, a congregation or somebody that has a lot of people in it, and I sign up the minister, and we say to the minister, we'd like you to introduce this to your congregation. And you might, let's say you have 100 people in your church, and each one of them, or families, whatever, signs up. If they're over 18, they can sign up, and you will get the $50 thank you bonus. Every 2 people, you'll get 1 cent increase into your account. And then the minister and the people who introduce get this generational bonus, which is 1 cent for every 10 people that you sign up. So if the minister signs up and then he signs the church up, the minister is then on the first, his church is on his first generation. So he gets 10 cents or 1 cent per minute for every 10 people that they sign up. But the people in the congregation, the church, will get credit for, will get 1 more cent. So if there's 100 people that sign up, the church is now getting about $20,000 per week. So you don't have to pass the hat anymore. You have tremendous amounts of funds for doing humanitarian work in your community that you want to do, and you don't have to pass a hat for that. You've got this money that's just coming in. If you need to put a new roof over your church or some other thing like that, you've got the money to do it, and you don't have to pass the hat around for each of these individual things. Now the minister signs up, and he gets, he's normally getting a certain amount of money from donations to the church. But now the minister is all signed up, and he's got his money coming in. And if there's another entity inside of there, as in the board of directors or something of this nature, that could be a part of the whole thing. That's why it goes 3 generations deep, so that we're not taking money away from the person who wants to introduce it.
Okay,
that makes
it
generous. Viable for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes it a viable situation for a person to go around and just doing that as their primary job.
Okay.
They get 10 people, and there's 100, so he gets 10 cents additional income for himself, and it continues on forever. So that's called residual income.
Oh yeah, everybody's favorite. Okay, and then there's the government's revenue sharing solution and UBI, Universal Basic Income.
Governments are people who work for the government are people, and we want them to continue to work and so forth, but they need maybe some funding for some projects that they want to do and extra things. The revenue sharing account will be set up for a new quantum financials in the new quantum financial system. For, let's say you have the mayor and he has his projects that he wants to do. So we set up a trust for the whatever purpose that he wants to do, and he manages or a trustee. He's a trustee. The RSS platform will be created in the new quantum internet and will enjoy the security as with the QFS. It will be unhackable, and the transfer of money to your QFS account will be an account-to-account transfer within the QFS. A country's government must be JSARA compliant and be a part of the QFS before the RSS platform will be active in that country. It's going to be hard to get around that, but we'll figure out some ways to think the way will be opened up for us to get money into the hands of most people in the world. Their governments have to not be involved. But see, when you're in the quantum financial system, you can receive money into your account that the government will never know about, because the quantum financial system does not work with governments to tell them how much money is in a person's account. So the IRS or something like that won't have knowledge of anything. We're not government friendly, because once you get into the NESARA, there's no income tax anyway, so there's no place for them there's no need for them to know how much money you're making. And so your funds can be transferred to pay your debts or something like that. As long as you know their account number, then you can transfer money from your account to theirs. And it's an account-to-account transfer. It doesn't have a third-party transfer agent or anything like that. You just go in and initiate the transfer yourself. If I know your account number in the quantum financial system, then I can transfer money to you. Now you say, well, why would I want to give my account information out? Well, you and the quantum financial system are the only ones that can take money out of your account. If somebody else tries, they'll be blocked. It is safe and secure. If it doesn't come from you to initiate a transfer, nothing can come out of that account. It is safe and secure for time and all eternity, as far as I'm concerned.
Good.
Okay, so So
Ready?
if you give me your account number, I can't use it for anything other than just give you money.
Deposit only.
So I don't know if this is a scam, or I don't know where the money's coming from. Could come from a reliable source. I don't know. But for us, a 10-cent registration fee qualifies you to get all of the funds that we have available for you. If something else comes along with the UBI, it's only an addition to what the RSS is giving you. And it has nothing to do with us. So it'll just be if it comes about and it's good, then good, fine. The RSS is a private internet platform program and requires a referral from a beneficiary in the program to join. Being a private nonprofit corporation sold by contract with the state, we do not come under government control of any kind. International, whatever country, they have no control over what we do, because we have a signed contract at a level that will cover the whole United States, or the whole world for that matter.
So when you when you brought up universal basic income, that is a term that people may have heard elsewhere, but it does not have anything to do with the revenue sharing solution. It's completely something different. That's what you're trying to make with that, right?
Yeah, the source of income is the source of the money. We don't know. I have no idea. I know where the money is coming for the RSS program, and that's through the ZIM benefactors and the ZIM holders who went in and got the higher funds. One of the benefits of using the RSS platform is that you can use it to pay your employees or your humanitarian workers, anybody in your organization. Let's say a ZIM benefactor can use the RSS platform to pay their workers using the Employment Contract Share, ECS, feature of the RSS program. The ZIM benefactor can adjust the per minute download to any amount to pay workers, i.e. office personnel or CAC directors, any field workers, etc. The Employment Contract Share feature can be adjusted to the full contract share with benefits, or just a simple download amount. The ECS reflects the worker's beneficiary account to give the ZIM benefactor complete control over the use of their funds. The RSS platform will generate different user ID numbers, specific reports to manage the ZIM benefactor's funds. What is this trying to say? Within the platform, as part of the program, so that you can pull up let's say you have a director in Spokane, Washington, as part of the program, so that you can pull up let's say you have a director in Spokane, Washington, you can look up that particular individual if it's in your download, in your downline, if that's right with that particular individual, so that you can use that as a managerial benefit for what you're trying to do. The third one has to do the features. If you do a contract under the ESS program, there's a whole structure for the contract, and that has to do with you get the benefits and you get free medical, and you get every 3 months you get a 1 penny raise. So that's $100 a week that you'll get as a raise for the term of the contract. And the contracts are normally 7 years. So what this is referring to is the larger contract that we're using for the ESS program. This is what's referencing there, and that maybe should not even be in there. But what we're talking about there is there are benefits that come along with it. which would be $100 or a 1 cent raise every quarter. And if the director that you're setting this up with wants to include that, then there will be a way for him to accommodate that or put it into the system so that it'll be automatic 1 cent every quarter raise for that particular individual.
And this will be covered in further in the training for the next training for the CAC, right? It will be shown in detail. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, using the RSS to support Zim benefactors' humanitarian work. Supporting governments, organizations, clubs, etc. using trusts. A trust structure can be used to fund the above to be a stopgap measure to assist in the finances. So if a government has my idea here is that you take a fire station, well, give them a trust account, and that's the trustee would be the captain of that fire station, and they could use it for whatever they want. And that would be food or maybe equipment, anything that they need. And I feel like people are underfunded in their work, and this is a way to stopgap that problem. So the director can be involved in the government and working out trusts for the different levels. And they can also be involved in the grants. A police department has their squad cars. I think it's a good idea for all of them to have bulletproof glass. And that's an expense that has to be paid by somebody. And I think that we could be in a position to let it accumulate with a trust account or a grant. I think a grant would be better for that type of thing, but additional consumable things that happen on a monthly basis can be a trust that fills the gap when the funding from the government doesn't include that. So I've got police, fire department, transportation needs funds for supplies, equipment, daily expenses, etc. Trust may be set up on an appropriate level of funding to assist these people in their work. The Zim benefactor has complete control within the RSS platform to do what they feel is appropriate. This control can be delegated to a CAC director and others by setting them up on the RSS platform. And you will, as a Zim benefactor, will have the ability to go in and set up for a director and adjust the payments. And if you want to pay them $100 every quarter, then you can do that as well. Those are the kinds of flexibility that a Zim benefactor has because they have a master ID number to get into the RSS platform. Okay, so when using trust to fund daily needs, each entity must have a trustee to manage the use of the funds. The funds are accountable by setting up an accounting firm to generate reports. The local CAC director can be tasked with managing the trust under the direction of the Zim benefactor. Delegation and accountability is the mindset of the effective Zim benefactor. It's a tool for you to manage your accounts. So you got trusts and grants. A trust structure is used for consistent daily, weekly, and monthly downloads or budgets. Grants are used for funding specific projects, big or small. Example, trust can be given to a fire station for maintaining supplies or food or workout equipment, etc. The captain of the fire station would be the trustee. The beneficiary would be the name of the fire station. Now, example of a grant would be to purchase bulletproof windows for the squad cars. Like I mentioned earlier, for new fire trucks or for a roof over the fire station is what I meant to say.
Perfect.
So grants are available through your directors. Okay. Remember, income tax that has been paid for these things in the past will go away when Jasara is initiated. In the old ways, the government taxed the people and provided service, putting officials in a powerful position over people. Now, Zim benefactor will begin funding purchases and government services that decrease centralized government control, thus diminishing power, greed, control, and dominion over the electorate. Money in the hands of thousands of Zim benefactors all over the world that come from their heart will begin to control governments and force them to be servants of the people, again, as it was meant to be. This army of humanitarians will change the global economy, the way money is used for good, and will change society into the new golden age of mankind. Now, RSS, in support of other Loved One Society programs, the CAC, will go into greater detail on that, but the Community Assistance Centers explained in the second PowerPoint presentation, CAC is the boots on the ground program where the greatest humanitarian work is to be done. The CAC is a structure of community directors who will administer the trust grants, and employment contracts for service-oriented business and infrastructure contracts in small geographical areas. The CAC directors will also act as a liaison for the National Real Estate Listing Service and the RSS program. And as we said before, if you go into a church and they have questions and the person that was not there that signed them up, and perhaps you want somebody with more definitive knowledge, then you can have a director be involved as a liaison in the RSS program. And that's what this is for. That's why I say the director has many different hats. He can be used to go out and find apartments that they can turn into condominiums. Somebody has to do that. Somebody has to spearhead that. And somebody can be trained to do that and can be an assistant to the director. Or you can make that a person a director. So it all depends on what you want to call them, but you can pay them for the job that they're doing. And sometimes you want to pay them perhaps even more than the director, because somebody that's involved in condominium conversions needs to know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so you want to get somebody that's competent. And that's the reason for that. But the real estate listing, there needs to be somebody out there feeding properties to the listing service, because I don't think it'll take very long for us to get to the point where it's going to be a property comes up, it's going to get sold very quickly. Who wouldn't want a house this way? Mm-hmm. So the NRELS, National Real Estate Listing Service, explained in the third PowerPoint presentation. The NRELS uses the RSS platform system for paying commissions for the real sale of properties. When a home or a condo is purchased, the owner is given additional per-minute downloads to pay the monthly payments of the real estate loan. The monthly payment is taken out of the RSS account by agreement. Thus, the home will never go through foreclosure. So, number 3, the Economic Stabilization System, and number 4, the ICCH, International Commodity Clearinghouse Program, will be further detailed in another training program. The structured payout. This is one of the most less understood or program of all, or idea of everything, because the structured payout system is what you're going to get paid out on a quarterly or biannual or annual basis, whichever you prefer. But it's important to know how this comes about. You are at the redemption appointment with a 100 trillion ZIM bond asking for $500,000, which we suggest per ZIM for a 100-year term, and 10 percentage points. It's not percent, it's percentage points of the primary principal for the structured payout. So how does that mean? 500,000 times a 100 trillion note. 500,000 is the rate for a $100 trillion note, equals 50 quintillion, and we'll call that the primary principal. So the rate times the money the ZIM that you have creates the primary principal, in this case, by $50 quintillion. Your annual payment is figured from that at 10% of the primary principal, and that equals 5 quintillion. So 5 quintillion is what you will receive from the structured payout on an annual basis. You can divide that into 4, and that's 1.25 quintillion. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now you divide by 4 quarters, like I said, and that equals 1.25 quintillion per quarter in your structured payout account administered by the QFS. One annual payment times 100 years equals $500 quintillion. What does that mean? The structured payout funds are activated into your structured payout account with your name on it at the time of your redemption appointment. The Alliance administration will transfer your quarterly payment from the structured payout account into your QFS mother load account for your use. Okay. You can call it a mother load, you can call it whatever account you want, but that's where it's transferred from.
This is where I have a lot of questions, and I think other people will as well. So I feel like I've heard you say that our principal amount will not be depleted. Is that true?
Absolutely correct.
How is that possible?
Once you've determined the amount of money you're going to receive on an annual basis, in this case 5 quintillion, the Alliance will put in 5 quintillion times the term that you have requested. So if you request 100 years, it will be putting in $500 quintillion in your structured payout account. It's already set aside for you.
Wow.
In the beginning, for the full 100 years.
So is that the term you're recommending everybody take, is the 100 years that you refer to over here?
Yes.
Okay.
And some people will want to go 200 years or 300 years. The Alliance, I guess you could say, has the crystal ball. They can tell how long we're going to be using money. Just ask for the longest, 100 years or the longest term you'll allow.
Wow.
And then, I mean, those people are going to be our friends. In fact, it's going to be an angel. Let's just say it the way it's going to be. It's somebody from the angelic realm that will be your mentor as a humanitarian to answer your questions and to help assist you and guide you in your humanitarian efforts. The Alliance will not leave this to people who have never had any experience with it, without some kind of very high level information or assistance in terms of who do you go and ask questions about your stuff, if not an Alliance representative or agent that's assigned to you. So every humanitarian will be assigned a person from the angelic, or an entity from the angelic realm. The veil is very thin, will be very thin. That person will assist you. Won't take over for you. They'll assist you in doing what you want to do. So if you need an attorney, they'll perhaps find an attorney for you. Beautiful. Or an attorney firm, or an accounting firm in an area that you're working with. That's how much the Alliance is depending on us. They are not going to leave us alone. What a wonderful blessing.
I have to say, Ron, that one of the most exciting things is realizing that we're going to have direction as well. Like, this is an amazing platform And I'm excited because it really can help out a lot of people, like everybody. But it's also encouraging to know that somebody from the Alliance, from the angelic realm, is here to hold our hand as well.
Yes. What a blessing
Mm-hmm.
for all of us. And with that, we'll have some more training coming up in the near future.
Thank you.
Plus,
Okay.
just let me just simply say, we love and appreciate all the humanitarians who are going through a lot of hell right now, but things are going to look real good very soon. And this is why we're doing the training now, so you'll kind of get a feel for what's coming. And hopefully it can come real soon. Blessings to you all. Thank you.